Greetings, friends, and welcome to a really fun and easy project. I'm going to tell you right now that these signs that you build can be as simple or as complicated as you make them. This is kind of giving you the push in the right direction to build these things as you would like to see fit. So right off the bat, I'm using fence boards. Most of the templates you're going to see that are built will be built for fence boards because A, they're cheap. You can get them 6 feet long, and each 6-foot board will produce 3 signs all built to the template, which I have set. And before you go any further, you're going to need some xylene, which is this little doohickey, and you're going to need to sand this wood to get the mill surface off of it. If not, the xylene doesn't stick as well, I find, so just make sure to get that nice and smooth. Once you've got those two things and the template, we are good to go. And it really is straightforward. All we're going to do is we're going to lay this down. Now, when you see this, I'm probably going to break it down so you don't get the extra letters. You're just going to have to line it up visually yourself. I might do something to make that work a bit better. But you'll see it on the template, and you know, it's one of those things. Now, you can the board you're going to start with is going to be completely flat and square. Then after you get the graphic onto it, you can go through and do a whole bunch of other steps to make it that much cooler. Anyways, I'm going to set up my camera so you can see me doing the whole transferring with the xylene. And we're going to get this graphic onto here. So we've got everything set up. I got a little bit of xylene in this old lid. Don't put too much of the stuff out at once. It evaporates so quickly. Now, you'll see that all the text is backwards. If you're going to do your own of these, please, by all means, make sure that you flip the text. Not that I've ever made that mistake before. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to visualize where I want this. My designs are set up to be 22 inches wide. So if you come in about an inch from the edge, you should have really good placement on this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just looking through the paper to see where everything lines up. See how good up and down it is. And you know what? I'm pretty darn happy with that. Now, I'm just using Kleenex or Kleenex, one of those facial tissues. There we go. I'm going to dip it in. It's going to get very wet. I don't want that much. What I'll do is I'll just dab it on the table to get it down a little bit because too much causes damage. And then starting with your hand here and always pushing away from yourself, you're going to use that to wet the paper and transfer that xylene. And what it does is, this is laser printed toner. And toner is actually plastic fragments. Well, plastic dust pretty much. And what we're doing is the xylene is actually going through the paper, melting the toner, and transferring it to the wood in a liquid state, and then reconstituting again. You'll see me, I'm going to go through the whole thing. Oh, that was way too much. Got to be careful. Too much, and you're going to soak through the paper and cause problems with it. So I'm just going to go to here. I'm going to pick up just the edge of that letter so I know I'm registering to for the next one. Going to push forward a couple times. And then I'm going to lift up gently while holding it to make sure that I got a really good transfer on all my letters. The H could use just a tiny bit more. Like that. And the bottom of the H could use a tiny bit more. Like that. And you pull it away and you're done. You can see how amazing that transfer works. If you were around for my Ouija board video, this is a lot less precise with these big graphics. You can get away with a heck of a lot more. So I'm going to continue on. I'm going to use these other pieces to register where I need it and just do the letters. You don't want to double them up, but you can use them for registration to kind of figure out where everything goes. I'm going to continue going. Our sign is pretty much done already. This is the luxury of this. You can make things so quickly. If you have access to a laser printer, you can make every sign that you ever possibly dreamed for your whatever you're using them for. It goes so well. And the best part is this is toner. So it's not going to rub off. It doesn't get affected by water because it is plastic. It is such a good, technique. You'll see I got a tiny bit of blurring because I got a little bit carried away with the xylene and some of it bled through and caused the toner. Not a big deal. From the distance, it looks completely fine. And unless I point it out, you probably wouldn't have noticed anyways. Now, I find that the stain that I'm going to use on these it's really up to you what color you go with, but I'm going to say that you want to grab a lighter color stain. Of course, I'm not going to be able to get into that very easily. Okay, we're going to use this magical tool. There we go. This is an not English oak. I almost did that again. This is a golden oak minwax stain, and you're literally going to have to see where you want to go. Now, I find that the golden oak darkens up almost too much on this, so I am going to go through and I'm just going to hit the edges of it. And then the middle I'm going to do with a more neutral. We'll see how I feel about it in the end. If I find it looks okay, I'm just going to brush it in there. Get rid of some of that on my lovely table. There we go. Okay, kind of get it to that point. Now I'm going to grab some of my natural. Now I got to be careful here because I don't want the natural color stain to get contaminated by my shenanigans. So I'm going to just use something to transfer some of this stain out of the jar onto my wood. So I'm just going to go like this. Going to stick some of that on because I don't want to go get a new brush, and then I can use this one to transfer it across, and it's not going to darken up as much. So you'll end up with kind of like this is up to you. You can do it single color, but this works out really well to keep the middle really strong. And then once you got it there, you can use it to kind of blend the colors together. So you end up with a lighter in the center than it is elsewhere. And you can see just how easy that goes. There we go. Now I'm going to let this dry, but you can see your sign is pretty much done if this is as far as you want to go. You can even do it in a single stain color. It doesn't have to be two. This is up to you now on how far or on how narrow you go. Like I said before, this is totally what you have access to in terms of tools and everything like that. And here is an example of another sign. I'll include the template for this too, on just how far you can go with these. This is pretty much the same board, and I used a chisel to knock out some of the wood so it looks that little bit cooler. And we're going to stain this one up while we're here too. I'll do the edges after I turn off the camera. You don't need to see me doing that. I just wanted to give you an idea of how they look when you do them both at the same time in terms of their own look and feel. So that's it. Signs are done. You can pretty much run with them, put them into whatever you want. You can route these, you can frame them. I'm going to go do some finishing work on this, and I'm going to pretty much see you then. Now to finish this up, if you want to make it into a signpost, or if you have other plans for it, that's up to you. I took a 1x5 by 1.5, sharpened the edge, and drove it into the ground with a hammer. I did this because then if this gets damaged, it's not going to damage my lovely post. And then on the front, I just attached it with 2 deck screws to hold it in place. And then this was about a 48-inch length of wood. And then I just made the top look all fancy because, that's me. Anyways, and that's how it turns out when you have these signs all up. Then at the end of the season, you can just pull it out and you're not going to end up damaging this year after year. I love how these things look. They're so quick and you can do so much with them in terms of spicing up your house for the holidays or whatever. The options are unlimited. I'm going to be including about probably 4 or 5 different versions of these signs for you to build right off the bat. And in time, I might add more to the website for different designs. Patrons, if you have a word that you want or a sign that you want, you know where to find me. I'll make it for you as part of a thank you for saying, hey, you guys are awesome. Regardless, thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this very quick and easy but awesome prop. And The options on this are unlimited, and what you can do with it is crazy. Special thanks to my subscribers, my viewers, everybody who makes this happen, who makes my channel happen. It's much appreciated. Regardless, have a good one all.